Hello, everybody. Lots of speeches, lots of things going on in Westminster, but this event I was absolutely determined to get to. And it's great to be here in your wonderful building with your leadership, Rowan. Thank you very much indeed, in Willis Towers Watson, and lots of other good partners. But I've just been chatting to Will Marshall, who I know gave a really compelling presentation outside, and it was quite interesting because one of the reasons I'm here today is way back when I was a student at Oxford, I was a geographer, and we were made to do a very boring module called remote sensing. Anyone remember that? And indeed, Will, as a physicist, was made to do a very boring module called remote sensing. And we were agreeing then that this sort of, well, this is quite interesting, and you can kind of see some deforestation trends, and it all kind of feeds into our view about, you know, the economics of Brasilia. But it was just not particularly relevant. And now, you know, standing here as the minister who has the incredible opportunity with this portfolio to look at greenhouse gas measurement and monitoring, to try and think about how you come up with an inventory that is usable, transparent, and to which countries are committed, and to stand as part of a country and a government who is very committed to our amazing work in space and in AI. It's just a really, really, really exciting opportunity, and I couldn't wait to get here and to listen to some of the things that were going on. And what I really wanted to do was say some of the things that are in my speech about why this is also great, but talk a little bit about what I think the opportunities are, because I think we are on the cusp of something that is truly revolutionary by bringing together this concern for the environment, this desire to assess risk accurately, and an opportunity to measure and monitor in an absolutely unprecedented way. And I won't spend too much time on what else is happening in BEIS or indeed in government, but hopefully some of you are familiar with our industrial strategy, which is actually trying, I think, for the first time to join up these themes of things where we have shown global leadership, like in the remote sensing space, like in the AI space, like in the clean growth space, where you saw the ONS numbers hopefully yesterday that came out. The clean economy is growing at about 5% a year, well ahead of the mainstream economy, 400,000 people employed, increasingly a very productive part of our economy. And that thread of clean growth runs right through our industrial strategy. It is the, if you like, it's the river upon which we are sailing lots and lots of projects, and we're trying to join them up in a way that is unprecedented. So historically, a lot of our investment in government or our sort of leaning has been towards very specific policies. Here is a policy to bring forward some renewable heat, or here is a policy to bring forward a particular technology for renewables. That's been great, and that's led us to have the biggest decarbonisation progress in the G20, which is amazing. But increasingly, the challenges are joined up. They're system challenges. They're how do you decarbonise industry and capture carbon and create low-carbon heating? How do you reduce greenhouse gases and monitor and measure so you can invest your international climate finance in a way? And I think this sort of systems approach, which is starting to prevail, is actually very fundamental to what we're talking about today, a sort of spatial finance join-up of the technology and the applications. And, you know, thinking about where this could go, I mean, Will and I have just been chatting about his idea of sort of dashboard for Mother Earth. What an amazing concept, the idea that you can remotely sense what is happening in CO2, in ocean sustainability, in fugitive methane emissions, so many aspects of the fight that we want to win. And also to do in a way that is relatively low cost, is not subject to massive disagreements. I mean, I don't know if anyone was at the Katowice COP, were there with me, where actually the whole city tasted of hydrocarbons. Did you notice that? The air, you could literally taste the coal. It was quite extraordinary. And opposite our Green GB wonderful stand, showcasing so many parts of our brilliant technological base, was the City of Katowice stand, which was a perspex structure full of coal. Or even the soap in the bathroom was coal tar. Quite astonishing. Anyway, but it was a really important opportunity because we had such a tough negotiation around transparency, measurement, inventory. How do you, if you can't measure something, you can't manage it. It's the sort of fundamental tenet of the private sector from which I came. And this opportunity to actually measure and monitor in a transparent way, I think is absolutely enormous. And that's with my sort of strategic global hat on. Of course, what you're talking about today is the linkage to financial opportunities. And again, another area where we have been absolutely world leading in our creativity and investment in green financial products and services. And understanding and assessing risk as part of those, and understanding and measuring risk is clearly a sort of fundamental challenge we've got going forward. And it can be done at a macro level and also at a very micro level. During Green Great Britain Week, we had the first one last year, we'll be having another one this year. It was fascinating to look at some of the sensing data now that can literally track a cargo of an agricultural product that is coming into the UK all the way back to where it was actually sourced, to the field from which it was sourced. So if you're trying to build a sustainable supply chain as a food manufacturer, if you're trying to make a sustainable investment portfolio, actually being able to verify that those underlying activities do tick the sustainability box is absolutely immense. And I think in the last 12 months, we've seen this kind of acceleration of the desire to appreciate risk and the desire to manage that risk and provide investment opportunities. The Bank of England found that 70% of banks now consider climate change as a financial risk. And one of the important aspects of government last year was our move to ensure that pension regulators, in particular, did pay attention and understand what is happening. So I think there are incredible opportunities for this bringing forward of the space challenge, the remote challenge, and the financial sector, and bringing them together. And you may have seen that we are formally interested in hosting COP 2020 coming up, a chance where I describe it as people actually having to show their homework, a chance where we are going to have to get together and put all of those NDCs on the table and see what they add up to in terms of climate and temperature trajectory. A really important moment, and there are other countries interested, and we have to be very careful and of course work with partners. But wouldn't it be amazing to have as a feature of that COP a proposal for global monitoring and measurement of what is actually happening to our planet? And on the back of that, a series of financial products and services which could be developed and or traded in the UK that can actually take advantage of that. And I'm not a space expert, although I have just provided Will with a new song for his playlist. I was very disappointed that as a sort of physicist in the astronaut space, he had never heard of public service broadcasting Go. Very disappointing. No, clearly you haven't either, honestly. What's wrong with this audience? I thought you were hipsters. It's worth downloading, it's very good. However, we clearly have this amazing, amazing strength in the UK, in the space sector. People always, and I know there are concerns about our future investments in relationship, and we're very mindful of those. And I will do everything I can to ensure we have a very close alignment with these important agencies post-Brexit. But, we're a global hub for Earth observation services. That supports £90 billion of UK GDP. We have 40,000 people working in the sector. We have amazing innovations like the satellite applications catapult. And, of course, we've always been world leaders in meteorological sensing and management, and there were always questions made about whether you should make that data available for free, what is the right way to stimulate growth and development on the back of that data set. And I think the Spatial Commission, which has been set up in the Cabinet Office, is a really important factor in thinking about how we make those right decisions with Earth sensing data going forward. So it's an incredible opportunity. We're building now on so many pieces of activity: the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, the Green Finance Task Force, very ably chaired by Sir Roger, who I think started today's events and obviously had great participants. The increasing appetite to build on the UK's performance, if you like, in this decarbonisation space and use it to help the world go forward with what it needs to achieve. And I think the opportunity for UK remote sensing capabilities and excellence in thinking about how to do this in a cost-effective way in partnership with the public sector is possibly one of the most exciting things that I have ever had to talk about. So I'm going to stop there. I'm just thinking, gosh, if I'd been this enthusiastic about remote sensing way back when, I might have got a first instead of 2 rowing blues and a rather dismal second. But anyway, never too late. But thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for your involvement in this. And this is a really, really exciting part of this great journey. Thank you very much.